All right, let's dive in. Today, we're all about wearable tech.
Ooh, wearables.
Yeah, it's like everywhere you look these days, right?
Right.
So we've got these two articles, both called What is Wearable Technology?
Right.
One's from Investopedia, the other from Built In.
Gotcha.
And we're going to really get into what this stuff is all about, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people hear wearables and they just think like fitness trackers or smartwatches.
Right, exactly. Okay, I got my steps in, I tracked my sleep,
Exactly.
but there's so much more to it.
So much more.
So first things first, what exactly is wearable technology?
Well, it's more than just something you wear.
Okay.
It's really about devices that are constantly collecting data and sharing that data too.
Right, so they're connected.
Exactly. It's a big part of this whole Internet of Things thing.
The Internet of Things.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. It's always sounds kind of futuristic to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Like my fridge telling me I'm out of milk.
Right, but it's basically just a bunch of devices that can talk to each other.
And to us, I guess.
Exactly.
But how did we even get here? I mean, we went from eyeglasses, which are technically wearable, right?
Sure, you could say that.
To smart tattoos. What?
No, it's wild.
How did that happen?
Well, it's kind of like how cell phones evolved, right?
Yeah, those big old brick.
Exactly. They got smaller, more powerful.
And then smartphones just took over.
And it's the same with wearables. Processing power, internet connectivity.
Like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all that.
Yep, and tiny sensors that can track all sorts of things.
Makes sense. So we've got our fitness trackers, our smartwatches.
Yeah, those are the most common ones.
But then there's a whole other level of stuff. Medical wearables, for example.
Oh, absolutely.
That sounds like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is. One that really stood out to me was this Circadia breast monitor patch.
Whoa, what's that?
So it's this patch.
Okay.
And it can actually detect early signs of breast cancer. Yeah, and then it sends the data to a lab for analysis.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's amazing how wearables can really make a difference in healthcare.
For real, early detection can be life-saving.
Exactly.
And then there's, hold on, did you say smart tattoos?
I did.
Tattoos that are smart? What does that even mean?
So basically, they're talking about tattoos with sensors in them.
Sensors, in the ink.
Yeah, like flexible electronic sensors.
No.
They can track things like your heart rate, even brain activity.
Oh, okay, I can barely commit to a regular tattoo, let alone one that's tracking my brainwaves.
I hear you.
But it's pretty amazing, you gotta admit.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not just healthcare. Gaming is getting in on the action too, right?
Yeah, big time.
VR headsets, AR headsets, haptic suits.
Have you tried VR?
I have. It's pretty wild. You're actually in the game.
Right. And then with haptics, you can feel it too.
That's crazy.
It's like the future is here.
And then even fashion is getting involved.
Oh, yeah.
Smart jackets, smart rings. It's style meets function.
Exactly. You can look good and be healthy at the same time.
I love that. But what I find really interesting is how wearables are being used in all these other areas too.
Like what?
Like travel, education, logistics.
Oh, yeah. I read about that.
It's every industry is finding a use for this stuff.
Imagine you're at the airport.
Okay.
And your smart glasses, they show you your boarding pass, guide you to the shortest security line.
That would be amazing.
I know, right? They can even translate signs in real time.
So cool. It's
Yeah.
Personalized everything.
Restless.
But with all this amazing stuff, we got to talk about the downsides too.
Uh-oh. You're going there?
Well, yeah, we're talking about devices that collect tons of data about us.
That's true.
And that can be a little, unnerving.
Yeah, I think it's important to be aware of the potential risks.
For sure.
Data privacy is a big one.
It is.
And we'll definitely dive deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive.
We will. But for now, I'm just kind of blown away by all the possibilities.
Me too. It's really exciting stuff.
It is. All right, well, stay tuned for part 2, where we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how this technology actually works.
Wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive on wearables. So last time, we were totally geeking out over smart tattoos and VR and all that.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
But before we get back to all that cool stuff, I kind of want to know how it all works,
The magic behind the curtain.
Right, these tiny devices doing all these incredible things. It's like magic.
Well, it's not really magic. It's actually pretty clever engineering.
Okay, so how does it work?
Remember those 3 key things we talked about? Microprocessors, internet connectivity, and sensors.
Right, the microprocessors are the tiny brains.
Right. They process all the data that the sensors collect.
And the sensors are always watching, always listening.
They're constantly measuring things like your heart rate, your steps.
And then it's the internet connection that sends all that data to your phone or the cloud or whatever, right?
Yep. That's what allows wearables to actually do something with all that data.
Huh. So it's not just about collecting data, it's about using it.
Exactly. Think about those early fitness trackers, the ones that really got this whole wearable thing going.
Oh yeah, like the Fitbits and stuff.
Now, those things can track your steps, analyze your sleep.
Some of them even estimate how many calories you burn.
It's incredible how much they can do.
And it's all thanks to those 3 key ingredients, right?
Pretty much. And the built-in article talked about how, like, the rise of mobile networks was really important for wearables, too.
Oh yeah, because as our phones got smarter, so did our wearables.
Exactly. And just like smartphones kind of replaced those old brick phones.
Yeah.
Smartwatches are becoming the central hub for wearables.
They're like the command center.
Exactly.
And they're everywhere now. I remember when they first came out, it was like this futuristic thing.
Yeah, but now it's almost like everybody has one.
It's crazy how fast this stuff changes.
It is. Technology moves so quickly.
Okay, so we've got fitness trackers, smartwatches, but then there's all that other stuff we were talking about.
Like the medical applications.
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting.
The Investopedia article talked about these medical alert monitors for seniors.
Oh yeah, like if they fall or something.
Exactly. It can give them a sense of security and their families too.
And I read about how wearables are being used to like personalize treatment plans for people with Parkinson's.
It's amazing how this technology can tailor treatment to each individual.
That's so cool. And then there was that Air Louisville project, right?
Oh, right, where they're using wearables to monitor air quality.
Yeah, it's like using technology to improve public health.
Exactly. They can use that data to make better decisions about, like, environmental policies.
It's like wearables aren't just about personal health anymore.
They're about community health, too.
It's amazing. It's like we're moving toward this future of like personalized preventative medicine.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It is. But with all this data being collected, I can't help but worry about like privacy.
No, that's a big concern.
Like, is all this information safe?
That's a really important question, and it's one we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, good.
But before we go there, I want to talk about something that often gets overlooked.
What's that?
We focus so much on the risks of data collection,
Yeah.
but what about the potential benefits?
Oh, that's a good point.
Could this data actually empower people?
Yeah.
Give them more control over their health and well-being?
Like, instead of being afraid of the data, we could use it to help ourselves.
Exactly. What if your wearable could, like, alert you to early signs of a health problem?
That would be amazing.
Or help you manage stress, get better sleep?
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
Right. It's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. But even with all the potential benefits, I still have questions about, like, the ethical side of things.
Like, who has access to the data and how are they using it?
Yeah, exactly. We need to make sure this technology is being used responsibly.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll be discussing in the final part of our deep dive.
The ethical considerations, the potential risks, all that.
All of it. We'll explore the future of this amazing field, too.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of wearables. All right, so we're back, still diving deep into the world of wearables.
Still here.
And, you know, we've talked about all the amazing things wearables can do.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But we got to be real, there's another side to this.
Right.
Like, with all this data they're collecting, we have to talk about the risks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Data privacy, that's a huge one.
It is. I mean, these things know our heart rates, our sleep patterns. Even where we go every day. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is. And the built-in article, they brought up something I hadn't really considered.
What's that?
It was about the workplace.
Oh, okay.
It said something like 79% of employees who wear a smart device at work, they think it's like essential to their job.
Wow, almost 80%.
Yeah, but then it made me think, what about the employers? Do they have access to all that data?
Whoa, that's a good point. It's like, where's the line?
Right, between like helpful technology and just being monitored all the time.
It's a slippery slope.
It really is. And it's not just work either. Think about insurance companies.
Okay.
What if they use data from your fitness tracker to like set your rates or even deny you coverage?
That'd be messed up.
Right. And what about law enforcement? Could they use location data from your smartwatch?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. It's like Big Brother stuff.
It is a little scary, isn't it?
It is. We need some serious rules about this, some safeguards for our privacy.
Absolutely. Regulations are key.
But even with rules, there's still the whole issue of security.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Like, what if somebody hacks into my wearable?
They can steal your data for sure.
Or what if they, like, messed with a medical device? That's terrifying.
That's the thing. As wearables get more connected, they also get more vulnerable.
Right, more ways for things to go wrong.
Exactly. And, you know, beyond all these practical risks, there are like deeper questions too.
Okay, like what?
Like, are we becoming too reliant on these things?
Interesting.
What if we start like ignoring our own intuition?
Yeah, just blindly trusting the data.
Right, and then there's the whole mental well-being thing we talked about.
Oh yeah, like wearables that can like monitor your stress levels.
What if they started, I don't know, trying to control our emotions?
Whoa, that's getting kind of deep.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Like, where does it end?
It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie.
It kind of feels that way sometimes.
We have this incredible technology, but we got to be careful with it.
Absolutely. We need to be thoughtful, you know?
Totally agree.
And that's why these conversations are so important.
I'm glad we're having it.
Me too. We need to keep asking the tough questions.
Yeah, keep pushing for transparency.
Exactly. Make sure this technology is serving us, not the other way around.
Well said. It's not just about gadgets, it's about the future we want.
That's it, the big picture.
Well, we've just scratched the surface here, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the world of wearables.
Yeah, and it's a world that's constantly changing.
So keep learning, keep questioning, keep exploring.
Absolutely. And thanks for joining us.
See you next time.